A home inspection and an appraisal. What's the difference between the two? Today, I'll break it down. I'm Bethany Warnches, real estate agent with Addison Jones, and you are watching Tuesday Talks with Bethany, where I answer real estate FAQs. When I meet with buyers, they often ask the question, the bank does an inspection, right? Well, the answer to that is kind of. So today, I will help you compare and understand the differences between the home inspection and the appraisal. First, let's talk about who hires the home inspector and the appraiser and who gets the report. The home inspector is hired by you, the buyer, directly, and you pay the home inspector. This report is for your information and for the seller's information. You are the two parties who get that report. It's used to help negotiate repairs as well as help a buyer understand future home needs and maintenance items. The lender does not typically need or get the home inspection report. What a lender does get is an amendment which has repairs that a buyer and seller have agreed to, which have resulted from that home inspection. A lender will need to see that these repairs get done. The agreed upon repairs are all that the lender normally cares about, and it really is a buyer's choice if they want to have a home inspection or not. Now, the appraiser, on the other hand, is hired by the bank. The bank will collect your money and then pay the appraiser with it. You and the bank are the two parties that get that appraisal report. And the only reason that it is shared with the seller is if that appraisal comes in low for value and you need to be able to prove that to the seller and show that to the seller. Next, let's talk about the amount of time each one of them spends in the property. So a home inspector is there for 2 to 3 hours. It really depends a lot on the age of the home, the square footage of the home, things like that. But about 2 to 3 hours thoroughly checking every component of the home, whereas an appraiser might be there for 10 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer if you have a government loan. But that is a huge difference in time that they spend at the property, 2 to 3 hours versus 10 to 20 minutes. Finally, what is the role of the home inspector and the appraiser in the transaction? Let's start with the home inspector. The home inspector is there to thoroughly check every component of your home that is accessible. The home inspection is a visual inspection, but even though it's visual, they will do things like walk on your roof. They will crawl through your attic as long as they can fit through that scuttle hole. They will operate your furnace. They will open up your electrical panel. They'll check your outlets. They'll operate your faucets and your sump pumps. They'll analyze your foundation walls and more. Home inspectors know a little bit about a lot. They know enough to understand if there is an issue that they need to advise you to consult with a professional for a follow-up inspection. This would be with a professional electrician, HVAC contractor, plumber, foundation specialist, roofer. Besides just knowing when to call in a professional for next level expertise, they also teach you a ton of home maintenance tips. And if you're a first-time home buyer, it's great to be there and soak them all in. And they'll also show you how your different home components work and show you things like where your water shutoff and your gas shutoff valve are. The appraiser's role, on the other hand, is to make sure that if the bank forecloses on you, that they can recoup the money that they loaned you. An appraiser's inspection of that 10 to 20 minutes that they are there is just looking for glaringly obvious issues. They don't want you to have to buy that house and start dumping all of this money into it for big repairs that you can't afford your life and your mortgage. They also don't want to repossess a home, so take back a home that has a bunch of issues, because then they are going to have a harder time selling it. So the condition matters because 1, they want to make sure that you can afford the road ahead, and 2, they don't want to take something back that they can't sell because its condition is too bad. Common issues appraisers are likely to call out are a roof if there is deteriorating, missing, or curled shingles. If they're in a foundation and they see some large cracking or leakage like pooling standing water. Old electrical possibly, like fuse boxes, or leaks that are very obvious from plumbing or a roof. Those are just some examples, and those are all glaringly obvious things that an appraiser will see as they walk through. It's really whatever catches their eye. They are looking for things as they go room by room and snap their pictures for their appraisal. If it is a government loan like USDA, FHA, or VA, then an appraiser might take a little more time, pay a little more attention, because they are supposed to be looking for other things as well. And common things that get called out for those government loan appraisals are chipping, peeling paint is the biggest one, missing handrails, missing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. If an appraiser calls something out, it will typically have to get repaired prior to the bank agreeing to loan on it. And here's the kicker. Even if the buyer knew about it in the home inspection and they were okay with it there, and they didn't make an issue out of it, but it becomes an issue in the appraisal, well, if you have a loan, you are just at the bank's mercy, and if the appraiser calls for it to get taken care of, and the underwriter and the bank say, yes, it needs to get taken care of, even though you buyer were okay with it, too bad. It's just one of those things that you have to work through and deal with because you have a loan. Sometimes, though, what the bank will allow is a professional in the field stepping in and doing a write-up and saying, yes, it's okay, this is normal, this is expected, this isn't serious. If they do something like that, then the bank may let it go, forgo the repair, and let it continue on to closing without doing a repair. In conclusion, an appraiser does an inspection, yes, but it is very minimal in time and in detail compared to a home inspector. Something I have also realized and learned is that even if a home inspection goes great and well, it's a great educational experience for a home buyer, whether you've bought before or you're a first-time home buyer, because it helps a buyer understand their home maintenance, it helps them identify components in their home, and it helps them understand how those components operate. A home inspection is always recommended, but in a hot seller's market, we see buyers foregoing them to try to look more appealing to a seller. As a buyer, it is your decision if you want to hire a home inspector and have a home inspection or not. It's just important that you do understand the risks if you choose to waive it and not have one. I hope you feel that this helps you understand the difference between an inspection and an appraisal. So now, if somebody asks you the question or says, doesn't the bank do an inspection? Now you know the difference, and you know the difference of the detail that's coming from the actual home inspector and the appraisal. And it can hopefully help you also make an informed decision about how much risk you're willing to take on, and if you want that detailed, thorough inspection before purchasing a home. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again on my next Tuesday Talk.